Hello there, beautiful. How are you doing? Now, obviously, the banner that's about to go live over on Dissidia at the moment, you can see that I'm not really streaming right now as my chat is empty and it's just about to tick over to 2 a.m. As you can see in the very corner of my screen, I'm wearing a dressing gown because I've been working a lot over the course of the day on socials and all sorts of stuff. But I thought it would be fun to kick the video off by having kind of a live reaction to what the banner is, because I normally try and check in with these things as they go live so that when we get to it we can actually see what the banner is supposed to be with this stuff, so that I can make a should you pull video or something along those lines to go with it. Now, before we get started, of course, and before we go into the should you pull or anything like that, as well as the pulls, I'll do those live on stream as well when I get round to doing them in the morning. I do always shout out one of my patrons over on Patreon, and today that person is going to be Shia, who is up to their patron tier to Ultima Patron, which is massively appreciated. Thank you so much for doing that. And I got to draw Emmett Selk, which was obviously an absolute joy. So we've now hit over the 2 o'clock mark, so now you guys know what sort of time in the morning these things go live for me. So I don't normally do this, but I thought for anniversary, why not? We'd go in for it and we'd see what it was like. So some of you guys may already know what this is. I am not one of them, so hopefully it's something exciting. Let's just wait and see. Well, we've got a download, so that's a thing. So obviously we know we've got something now, because I've tried to do this in the past and it not go quite to plan. But I've heard rumours that I'm supposed to be very excited about it. I've got a lot of DMs and stuff like that that I've tried to ignore because I like to be surprised by these things where possible. But we'll have to wait and see how we go. So hurry up and download, hurry up and download. You're kidding. You're kidding. Alisaie and Kais? Early C90 Kais? And does this mean an early LD release for Alisaie? What? What? Okay, let me go and have a look. I won't do my pulls now, because I'm going to cut over to the actual video when we get to it. No. Shut up. Was this anniversary like tailor-made for me or something? Like, are you actually joking? These are like 2 of my favourite characters in this game. And we got Garnet on top of it. So I've got Alisaie's LD is right there. Like, I mean, initial impressions, obviously we'll go into greater detail later, but if you've got like high turn characters like Lightning or anything like that, you probably don't need Alisaie. I need Alisaie because she's Alisaie. But I'm still probably going to go tickets because I already have everything else on this banner. But C90 Kais is also not a joke either. That's crazy. Oh, hold on. Wait, they've brought Ace here as well. Is that the last of it? Yeah. So Ace is there as well. Wait a second. He's not C90 as well, is he? Surely not. No. Okay, he's still capped at 80. But we have got it for Kais, which is crazy because his S2 now grants for 8 full turns. Now, I'm going to leave it there and we're going to come back in the morning, but I wanted to film a little something ready for the morning so that you guys could see what my reaction was to the banner going live. I can't believe it's Alisaie. Garnet and Alisaie. Are you freaking kidding me? I'm actually glowing, and the urge to pull right now is very strong, but I will refrain and I will wait until tomorrow, so I will see you guys then. Thanks very much. Hello there everybody, I'm back now, and as you can see I am not in a dressing gown or anything. I am actually streaming at this point in time as opposed to doing everything at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was good. You can see my multi-draw is still free. I was a good boy. I didn't pull last night or anything. The temptation was very there. But I thought what we would do is we would go in and do the should you pull section of the video. So we've got 2 characters to cover here because this banner is just a rerun banner. We only have Ace and with the BT returning, which is nice, as well as Hope LD. Hope LD is still pretty useful as a call ability, but I wouldn't use him outside of that. And then with Ace, we've now got the BT coming around, but if you wanted this, you've already got it. Like, let's be fair. Thank you very much for the resub there, False Divine. See, there we go. This is the problem with doing these things live on stream. But thank you ever so much for that. Yeah, if you wanted the BT for Ace, you've probably already got it by now. But if you get it, he's actually one of the characters that still lasts very nicely, even with C80, as opposed to having to be C90. So that's always quite nice in and of itself. So let's take a look over at Kais first. So Kais gets quite the rework here. Doesn't sound like much. Luckily, both of these reworks are actually quite simple, so this shouldn't take me too long. So Selkie Throw becomes a Brave HP attack executed 3 times, so it brings his damage up to where it should, and it deals flat splash damage, etc. Does all the stuff that it's always done. And then Hero Support. I gagged the first time I saw this when it was released in JP, and we're obviously getting it slightly earlier than they did to go alongside Alisaie. So Smash Support, which is his buff that he gives to one of his party members for 1 turn previously, to allow that character to launch with whatever they do, now lasts for 8 turns. So we're talking like a full BT phase, or if you're using a turn-hogging character like Alisaie or anything like that, you're going to be able to launch with that character for quite some time. And the nice thing with Kais as well is because it lasts so long and during a BT phase, you could in theory pull him out of your party and switch in with a friend unit, and because his Brave Leak debuff off of his LD is a debuff, and because the buff that he gives is on the character that he's giving it to, he's not like Selfie in the fact that he doesn't actually have to be there to really do the things that he needs to do. You get his buff from his Selkie Solon at the ready, so you get the extra HP damage. You probably still want him there, but the option is available to you. So Hero Support, definitely one worth looking at now. And then his Hero Support Recovery Attack All now gives party attack up and then party HP damage up during a knockback, which obviously really good and coinciding with the rest of his kit. His EX now does AoE 100% damage and hits 4 times with HP damage, so this now hits really hard and still has the delay by a turn. It's still it becomes a really good move again. And then Aerial Drive has now been reworked so that the LD boards make it so that you start with Brave Leak. So this means not only the fact that you get the debuff from the beginning of the fight, so it's a little bit less clunky to get things going now, but it also means that you can apply it with his regular call ability, which sadly doesn't get increased to 8 turns because that would be ridiculous. But it means that you can then put Brave Leak on the enemy if for some reason it gets taken off from you using the LD version of it, because now it comes in when he comes into the fight. So that's something to bear in mind. Now, when it comes to Kais, I've always been of the opinion that I believe he is one of the strongest characters in the game, in the sense that since his release with just his basic EX back in the day, there's never been a time where he's been completely useless for longer than like 1 fight at a time. Because if an enemy is launch immune or anything like that, you're probably not going to want to bring Kais along for the ride. But if they're not, he's always been really good, and he's been updated fabulously every single time that he's come back around. So he's definitely somebody worth looking at, and if you don't have him and you want to chase after Alisaie, then it might be something worth considering. Now, Alisaie also gets a rework, and it's actually a lot more simple than you'd think. Like, Alisaie is a very complex character, and because of that, she's actually one of my favourite characters in the game to run. And I actually released a video when her EX Plus came around to explain exactly what it is that she does. Now, thankfully, that video is still applicable, and I shall leave a link in the description box below to that video, because the LD doesn't actually change all that much about her rotation, which is really quite nice, but it adds a lot to her kit anyway. So you'll see going through her kit that basically everything that she has now has a much larger number of HP dumps in it. So Enchanted Redoublement, which is her HP plus that she gets from having 5 mana of black and white each, now has 5 HP dumps in it, which is rather a lot. And then Verero now has double HP dumps. Verstone has double HP dumps. Verholy now has 3 HP dumps. Basically, you just get a lot of HP dumps across the board from her rework. Her C65, or now 88, increases her bravery cap because she's a damage dealer, and that happens to most of them. Jolt 2 combo now does 4 brave HP attacks, and it hits really hard considering the fact that it's a free turn. Now, the reason I like Alisaie as much as I do is because she's turn hoggy, but not too turn hoggy. Like, she's not a character that you can just go off with entirely, but if you really wanted to build around her to make it so that she could, then you can. She obviously gets her dual cast, so every other skill that she does is free. She benefits massively from buff extension characters like Hope or Saz or Aiko. She eventually comes around. There's lots of characters that she benefits from just by having the ability to make her dual cast last longer. And then her LD actually is just something that you use for a buff, and it actually does extend dual cast by 2 turns. So it'll use up a turn and then it'll go up by a turn, so you can actually do it to herself now. And this is a AoE group HP attack, Brave HP attack that hits 6 HP dumps, which is rather a lot for a character who gets a lot of free turns. And she gives herself a frame buff called the Sword of Eorzea. So the first thing that this does is enchants her for all of the elements that she hits for. So it means that all of her stuff that doesn't hit for elemental damage, so Enchanted Redoublement, Jolt, Contra Sixt, that sort of thing, all hits for elemental weakness damage now, because she inflicts the elemental imperils with both her EX and her LD. She gets Brave and HP damage up, and when she's dealing a critical Brave hit, she gains Bravery. If you've ever used Kate Sith, this is what this is. So you'll get exactly the same thing, but it's just for Alisaie, and it lasts for a good long period of time, as well it should, considering how many turns Alisaie takes. And basically, it just means that she's dealing a lot of damage very frequently with a lot of free turns and a lot of free skills. She is ultimately a damage dealer that does hog turns. And when I say she doesn't hog turns like loads and loads and loads, she still does it quite a lot. And if you're liking characters like Lightning or Zell or anything like that, you probably don't necessarily need another turn hoggy damage dealer in your party. I'm gonna want this because it's Alisaie, and you can shove all those others to the side for her because she's one of my favourite characters in FF14, let alone this game, so I will be probably pulling for her here. Now, if you do want her, she's going to benefit a lot from a lot of characters, like, because she's now going off with so much damage, and because Kais has the 8 turns worth of smash support, you can actually put those two things together, and Alisaie wants HP cap ups for sure, because she caps very frequently with all of her HP dumps, thanks to the fact that she has all that Brave gain in between everything that she does. So Garnet, obviously going to be fantastic for you. I would turn around and say that if you have Garnet, you probably don't need to pull for Alisaie. But realistically, if you have Garnet's full kit, you probably don't really need to pull for anyone for quite some time. So there is that. Honestly, in like further thought, while Garnet is hype as heck, super exciting, all the bustedness is exciting for everybody, the only problem I have with this is that, like, we were worried about the fact that this new era was going to be too easy as it was. So, once all these anniversary events have wrapped up, isn't it now even easier, thanks to Garnet? So, don't get me wrong, I'm still happy. I've got my Alexander. I've got no issues. And now I have Alisaie, hopefully, as well. So there's plenty to love in this kit, but the fact that we got Alisaie brought forward means that she's definitely a character that people will consider using for a long period of time now, whereas before, because she was released very late into the JP era for C90, she probably didn't get as much use as she could have done. So I'm obviously very, very happy here. Okay, now that we're all done with that, now we have to pull for her. I'm obviously very excited for this, but call me crazy, but I'm actually going to be using tickets for Alisaie rather than gems, because I have everything else on the banner already. I have Kais, I have Garnet BT, I'm just going to use tickets on Alisaie. So hopefully, and like part of it as well is because I've gone like 1,250 tickets without pulling an LD, I'm kind of entertained by the idea of how many tickets it's going to take for me to get something that I want, and I find that quite entertaining at the very least. But hey, Alisaie will get tickets, that's for sure. So hopefully this will like bring things around and we can do some fun stuff. So let's just go in, because I keep putting it off because I always get nervous with these things. So, I've had enough of this rabble. Come on! Oh. Blue orb. That was quotes and everything. I was trying there. It was worth a go. It's lots of Ishtola stuff. It's like, cool. Let's see what we can do here then with tickets. And let's come out of that. I've got tickets to spare, so I don't mind spending them here. We just have to hope. We just have to hope. So we were at 12.50. 12.70. Oh. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I can't look. I'm so excited, but I can't look. I'm so nervous. Did we get it? Did we get it? Oh. Oh, okay. Sure. That's not what I was after, but I'll take the burst tokens. That's not it. Burst tokens is fine. I'll take that. Okay. Not looking. I'm not looking. Tell me when it's over. Did we get it? Did we get it? Wrong one. Oh yeah, wrong. It's the EX. Oh no, I want Kais. Oh no, I don't want that. Oh, stop! Stop teasing me. I've got the LD for Garnet. I pitied the Garnet LD, remember? Okay, no, I'm gonna look. No, not Kai's! Not Kai's, stop! Okay, so now that's 13.20. Okay, there's another gold. Come on. Come on, Alisaie. Please, baby, please. You can't leave me out forever, game. Not with these tickets. Kaisi X. Nope. Everything. I've literally done it again. It's everything on the banner except the thing I want. Everything on it except the thing I want. Oh, no. See, that's the thing. I think because LDs are the one thing you can't buy with tokens, that's why, like, I sometimes get a little, about that kind of thing. Another EX for Kais? No. EX for Ishtola. So that's... What's 1250 plus 170? 1,420 tickets without an LD that I've wanted. That's terrible. That EXs. No. Okay, come on. Come on, Alisaie, please. No, still nothing. Still nothing. Okay, please, Alisaie, put me out of my misery, please. No, not Kai's! No! That's the third one! Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Okay, we are well over 1,500 now. Well over 1,500. Like, honestly, at this point, I find it funny. Oh, double Kai something. Right, come on, please. Please, 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 please. Alisaie EX. The pain, the tickets in this game, honestly. The tickets in this game. It's got to happen eventually, right? No! Oh my goodness! How? I'm keeping going because honestly, I just think this is hilarious at this point. Nope, it's Stola. Jesus. We're down 420 tickets now. On just this banner. On just this banner. I'm gonna have to stop at 500. I have to. The thing is, tickets are there to be spent, right? And I have to be less precious about these things. Oh, that's painful. I think I'm going to have to stop for now. I have to stop for now. I'll come back. I'll come back. I have to. I can't right now. So I'm really sorry that I didn't get it. I'm very excitable about it, but I didn't get anything. Well, I got stuff, just not what I needed. What's this free draw? Let's see what's on here, shall we? And nope, nothing on there either. And then what about the other one? There's still this one as well. There's a gold on this. Maybe this will be something nice. No, it's a Renoa EX. Never mind. Oh well. What can you do? What can you do? The game continues to troll me. Unfortunate. I'm gonna see how I feel, and I'll see how I feel when I come back, because that's awful. Let's just go back in, because like I'm gonna spend a couple more tickets because I don't want to go gems, but I will if I have to. Like, there's no right answer here for me. Honestly, like, when it comes to situations like this, I never quite know what to do, because I feel like if I pull with gems now, people will read me for mixing tickets at gems, which to me is nonsensical, because people have different opinions on tickets. Like, a ticket that didn't get you what you wanted on one banner isn't going to magically get you one on another. So I see it slightly differently. Like, I will use tickets then gems. I think the other way round is nonsensical, but I think tickets then gems is normally okay, because sometimes you use tickets because you want to not have to use gems so that you can use them on a different banner, as opposed to going on banners that I don't really care about. Because I understand people's opinions on it, but when my luck's not doing very well, the reason that I get a little bit sad about it is because I don't know how to act in front of people about it, because like, if it upsets me, people get angry at me, but if I don't say anything, or if I continue to pull until I get it, then people get angry at me. So I'm like, well, I just don't typically know what to do at those situations. So, with any luck, we get it and don't pity 2 in a row. It's a double-ish Stolar LD. And because this is the thing, is that I know that people will probably be annoyed at me for doing this, but at the end of the day, the best way I can think to put it is, it's my game. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. It's like, I just don't really know how else to be. So I think, if this annoys you, I'm sorry. I'm just doing what I know how to do. And obviously when your luck's not great, finally, when your luck's not great, it doesn't make it better when people compound that by saying, you did the wrong thing. It's like at this point, like, I'm happy because I have it at last. Yes, it's 25k gems. It is what it is. But I've got it, and I get to play with Alisaie now, which is cool, and I'm happy about it. Because those 500 tickets that we spent, they're not going to be magically better on a different banner. And like, that's something I think that people need to kind of remember, because if I had gotten it in tickets, then I wouldn't have had to spend the gems. So hopefully that makes sense to people. Now, I'm obviously going to come off from this part of the video, which is a lot longer than I would have liked it to have been, and we'll go into the would you pull, should you pull section. But at least I have her now. I'm happy, so that's that. Okay, so now that we're back in the room, just off stream and back in videoing mode, as it were, I did want to grab some comments from my patrons over through Would You Pull, as a massive thank you for all of you guys, as always, for casting your comments and stuff like that. Obviously, I don't have a poll for this one again, much like the anniversary banner for Garnet, because obviously we didn't know what the banner was, and as you can see from the beginning of this video, I was already half dead by the time it came out. But I did ask people for some comments while I was doing the stream and while I was asleep to see what kind of things people thought about these particular banners. So going into those comments, Kuran says, so early Alisaie LD, well, I'm going to go full Joesephyr. Am I objective? No, not at all. I'm sure that the banner may be skippable if you did a pity on Garnet and are still recovering. Still, getting this LD and C90 2 months early will let the sassy red mage shine a bit longer. And the game isn't even giving 14 any love lately on JP. There's still no villain when it's a main opus. Even Xenos that I dislike would have been great because of NT. Endwalker would have been a perfect opportunity, just like they did with the release of 7 Remake. Nor were a new character since Lise, who isn't even great. In March 2019 for JP, so it's cool to see the little surprise. Anyway, time to blind everyone with a red mage LB3. I wasn't objective about this either, and I completely understand where you're coming from with this, because I actually agree. I think it's very weird that we haven't seen a lot of 14 representation, with 14 being as big as it is at the moment, with Endwalker and all that stuff, so I would like to see more of the 14 cast, and even though my luck was pretty hideous for that particular banner, and we're now up to, what, nearly 1,800 tickets without an LD I was actually after, which is pretty rough going, but at the same time, I really do love the character, and I plan on using her a fair amount, especially considering that we got her early, so I'm really happy about that. Chris Hart says, while Alisaie is tempting along with the Ace BT, I'm still holding off to see if we get the full lock kit when he comes on February 14th. I've been waiting for lock since before he came out in JP. That being said, I've got about 100 tickets expiring before lock who I'm going to gem and likely pity, but I don't care, so I'll probably split those tickets between Alisaie and whoever comes up for the Equinox banners. These mystery banners are both exciting and annoying. Tell me about it. Absolutely tell me about it. They are exciting. As a player, they're amazing. As a content creator, they're absolutely backbreaking. But, you know, Locke is still really good. Like, a lot of people are still going to go for Locke. And Locke presents a lot more to the table than Alisaie does. He has a lot more kind of nuance. He's got defense ignore for the party, indomitability for the party. There's a lot of damage that comes out of him. But at the end of the day, he does more than just a damage dealer does, which is not what Alisaie is there to do. Alisaie is a primary damage dealer and is a perfect counterpart to go next to somebody like Garnet anyway. So while what I said earlier still rings true, where, you know, if you're fine for like fast-paced damage dealers like your Zells, your Lightnings, etc., then you probably don't need Alisaie. But I was gonna go in for her regardless because of who she is, and I made the mistake of skipping out on a favourite once before when it came to Emperor, and I wasn't prepared to do it again, but I wanted to use tickets, and it's a whole thing, and there was never a right answer for that, so I'm just gonna leave it at what it was. And then finally, Sergeant Tuffy said, I already resorted to gems for Banner 1, so I'm going to try with tickets. See, I'm not the only person that does it, but I will have that LD. Real talk, high turn D-rate DPS characters, especially ones that are LD only, are plentiful these days. She's not a must pull, especially if you have the likes of Zell or Lightning. But she's Alisaie, and that's enough to get me pulling. Now, I like this card because it was posted, as you can see, before I pulled for anything or that sort of thing. But I was just so excited for Alisaie that I was willing to go in. But I'm glad that I'm not the only person that does this when it comes to tickets, and I hope that I'm not the only person that sees using tickets before gems as not necessarily a rule, because I am very firmly of the opinion that there are no firm rules when it comes to these games, and people should do things however they like as long as they have their own reasoning for doing so. I think going in with no reason behind your methods is probably not a very good idea, but if you have reasoning behind it, then stay true to what you know, and don't let other people's opinions get to you. Now, obviously, it's easy for me to say that because I am somebody who gets very, very affected by other people's opinions sometimes, because I am, for better or worse, somebody that cares what other people think of me. And as a content creator, sometimes that can be a bit of a bugbear, but also it means that I get a bit embarrassed when I upload videos like that where it's like, oh, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do here. But we did it. I've got the LD now, and I'm happy with it, so hopefully that caters for everybody else. Now, when it comes to actually whether you should pull for Alisaie, or Kais, or Hope, or Ace, the Hope and Ace banner, like I said, I think that at this point, if you wanted Ace BT, you probably already have it by now. Now, Ace BT is still actually very good. Even though he's only C80, he is still a very applicable character. And if you wanted it, I would have personally gone on with BT tokens at this point if you happen to have them, rather than try and pull for them here, because those gems are going to be more useful going forward. And Hope is a very good call ability, especially for somebody like Alisaie, who he buffs, extends her buffs and stuff for. But I wouldn't go pulling for Hope now. I think that he's had enough opportunities to come back around that you don't have to go for him here. So to me, this banner is probably a skip, but I think a lot of other people will feel differently. When it comes to Alisaie and Kais, Kais is scary now with his skill 2 giving 8 turns worth of his buff, the fact that he comes in with the debuff, the fact that he's got more splash damage on everything, the fact that his EX and his skill 1 actually do damage that's solid now. There's a lot to really like about Kais, and the fact that he's enables a lot of launch capabilities that you couldn't use before. I couldn't quite have time to finish the whole of the Abyss this time around, but I really enjoyed using Lael and Kais in this because they were kind of leapfrogging over each other, and it was really fun with Garnet just sitting in the background doing crazy things. So I very heavily recommend Kais. I really do think he's a character that has stood the test of time. And then with Alisaie, yeah, I've sat there and I've said that there's a lot of characters like her. There aren't very many that churn out the damage that she can do right now, especially when you increase her HP damage caps up, like with Garnet, or if you want somebody that's just a little bit different, she's turn hoggy but not too turn hoggy. She's you can play with her because of the dual cast buffs. She's complex, and I will leave a link in the description box below to my last Alisaie video, because as I said in the the banner info section of the video, that it doesn't actually complicate her any more than she already was. You just need to make sure you have her Sword of Eorzea buff up as much as possible, and then you're pretty much good to go. But she will serve you well for a long time to come at this point. But obviously, being a high turn count character, Lufenia orbs are going to tick down because of her. There'll be times where she jumps turns when you didn't really want her to. So if that doesn't appeal to you, then Alisaie is not one for you to go for. If it does, however, her coming out this early, definitely a nice surprise. So that's going to be all for today's video. Next week we have another banner to come where the formatting of my videos will be a bit more like this. But after that, hopefully we'll be going back to our normal rescheduling time, and I'll be able to post everything up at the same time each week, as opposed to the way things have been with the anniversary. So if it's a bit messy, then I apologise, and I also apologise for the lack of hype when it came to those pulls. But, at the same time, it is quite difficult to kind of push it all down when you've got loads of people watching you, and it can be quite pressurizing. So I can see how probably for people watching this video how my mood started and how it ended by the time I'd actually gotten Alisaie. But at the end of the day, we all have different journeys when it comes to this game and any other game. And the thing to it that's important to remember is it is just a game. So even if one gets in their feelings about the game at the time, let's sit with it for a few minutes, let it wash over you, and then it goes. And that's definitely how I feel about it. So just don't perhaps tell people how to play their game and they won't tell you how to play yours. So thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for future notifications of any other videos I might be making. And I'm actually going to go off and finish off my Kefka costume again, because I'm actually taking that to KupoCon this weekend. So if you happen to be there in London, then it'd be lovely to see you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Take care.